The True Project presents.
Hi, my name is Alice Wong. I'm a disabled activist, media maker, and consultant. I am the founder and director of the Disability Visibility Project, an online community dedicated to creating, sharing, and amplifying disability media and culture. I'm sheltering at home in San Francisco and delighted to read a short excerpt from the introduction to a new anthology I edited called Disability Visibility, First-Person Stories from the 21st Century, published by Vintage Books. This anthology is rooted in my love for stories by disabled people. Disability culture is everywhere, but it's not represented enough. In editing this anthology, featuring first-person stories by 37 amazing and brilliant disabled people, I invite readers to challenge what they know about disability and appreciate the richness and variation of our community. Be sure to check out my website for more info about the book, online events, plus a free discussion guide and plain language summary at disabilityvisibilityproject.com/book. You can also find me on Twitter at sfdirewolf. That's SFDIREWOLF. Okay, here we go. Staying alive is a lot of work for a disabled person in an ableist society. And that work has been a big part of my 46 years on this planet. I grew up seeing very few images that looked like me in films, books, and on television. In that absence, how does one realize that something is even missing? Last year there was a photograph that went viral. A young girl in a wheelchair, transfixed by a beauty ad, featuring a woman in a similar chair. The two ultimately met in person, and their story made me wonder about my own childhood, how my worldview would have changed if I had seen someone like me as a glamorous, confident adult. As I grew older, discovering a community of disabled people and learning our stories gave me a sense of what is possible. I'm going to notice and save stories about disability that meant something to me. In high school, I read an article in Time about accessible public transit. I was incredibly excited about the prospect of accessible transportation, and I wrote a letter to the editor expressing a wish that this would expand. I lived in the suburbs, and the idea of being able to go places on my own, by bus or train, seemed like a faraway dream. The letter was published in a subsequent issue, and it was thrilling to see my name in print. The first time I advocated for something on the record as a disabled person. The article sparked my curiosity for more stories and information. As my collection grew, I had file folders filled with newspaper and magazine clippings. I now have multiple bookmark folders on my web browser where I save links by subject. They number in the hundreds. In surrounding myself with these stories, I found and developed my own voice. My conviction led me to community. I didn't grow up part of the 88 generation. I was a sophomore in high school with a long past, but it had profoundly changed my life and millions of others, giving us a civil rights law we control our own. In 2014, disabled people throughout the United States were preparing for the following year's 25th anniversary of the ADA. I wanted to mark the upcoming milestone, but wasn't affiliated with any major advocacy or media organization, and wasn't certain how I could contribute as an individual. I was, however, certain about three things. One, I wanted to see more stories about the disabled experience in the present while honoring the past. Two, I wanted to see more stories about everyday people rather than the usual, very important people newly mentioned at every ADA anniversary. And three, I wanted to increase the diversity of the mainstream representation of disability, which remains very white and very male. Disabled people have always existed, whether the word disability is used or not. To me, disability is not a monolith, nor is it a clear-cut binary of disabled and non-disabled. Disability is beautiful and ever-evolving. Disability is both apparent and non-apparent. Disability is pain, struggle, brilliance, abundance, and joy. Disability is socio-political, cultural, and biological. Being visible and claiming a disabled identity brings risks as much as it brings pride. As a marginalized person, I don't feel it's enough to just keep saying, hey, pay attention to us. We're here, we exist. We're just as human as you. I want things to improve while grappling with this impulse toward the tension between subject and audience. I want to center the wisdom of disabled people and welcome others in rather than ask for permission or acknowledgement. Harriet McBride Johnson wrote that storytelling is an activity, a shared experience, not an object. Collectively, through our stories, our connections, and our actions, disabled people will continue to confront and transform the status quo. It's who we are.